Yo, 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 what's going on, you guys? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, baby, representing Team Kings of Games. I ain't gonna waste no time, baby, because it's time for some SHADDOLL content. You know it. One of my favorites, yo, SHADDOLLs, baby. Let's hop right into it, you guys. So today I'm gonna be showcasing you guys a new variant. Moving forward in the future, I get my hands on these cards in real life. This is a variant that I'm going to play. There's a lot of variants for SHADDOLLs, you know, like Dino SHADDOLLs, Jet Synchron, Valkyrie 5X Turbo SHADDOLLs, Dragma dolls, Invoke dolls, now Magistus dolls, Pure SHADDOLLs, Zombie SHADDOLLs, SHADDOLL Orcus. You know, there's so many variants, and people really sleep on like the very, very generic Foolish Burial half of the SHADDOLL Fusion. It sends the fusion materials from deck. All you have to do is send one SHADDOLL, and any of the other monsters, all they have to do is have a matching attribute. So the SHADDOLL Fusion is effectively a Foolish Burial for any monster you could think of in the game, sending Overtext to get a pill. Heck, you have any monster that has a busted effect, send Orcus Nightmare from your deck to your grave, summon a Winda. You know, think of any monster you guys can think of that's like super good in grave, like Eldritch the Golden Lord, send it. You know, summon Construct, get Eldritch the Golden Lord out into your field. Literally any monster that you could think of that has an attribute that is appropriate for SHADDOLL Fusion. SHADDOLL Fusion is a Foolish Burial. So it's like you play Foolish Burial at 4. Speaking of which, while I'm fine-tuning this list, I forgot to put in that Foolish Burial. Wow, look at the irony of that while I'm talking about it. There we go, now my list is perfect. There we go. So what I have for you guys today is Magistus SHADDOLLs. Yeah, Magistus SHADDOLLs. There we go. So this is a variant that I felt like was a really, really strong variant. As you guys know, I'm a very adamant SHADDOLL player. I'm pretty seasoned and experienced with it. I understand how the deck works. I know the strengths and weaknesses. One of my biggest fears always for a long time was like Dweller, but you know, it's starting to become like the only deck that's really like legitimately putting up Dweller that's meta relevant, like in the top tier echelon of tier 1, is gonna be like Adamanticators. Like other than that, like Dragon Links, you know, Infernobles and all that, they're not putting up Dwellers. So like, you know, I can breathe a little bit, because a lot of times I was side decking for Dweller because I know my deck's weaknesses. So like, how this deck operates is like now with these new Magistus cards, or Magistus, they change it a lot for this deck. Like, so the way I play SHADDOLLs, I like a high doll count. I'm a SHADDOLL player that likes to draw a lot of dolls because I like to be able to fusion multiple times. I can break almost any board I can think of just by activating fusion spells. Fusion spells bait negates, because if they don't negate it, you chain block. If you guys don't believe me, watch my video, Can SHADDOLLs break a 6 negate board? Watch me break a 6 negate board playing SHADDOLLs. Like, just waxing. This deck's super strong. The problem with the negates is if there's not like 6 spell or trap negates, but like only 2 to 3 omni negates, you know, with the good hand, that's why I like playing so many fusion spells, you could wax them. Which is why it's always nice to open like multiple fusion spells all the time, so you can bait the negates. All you need to be able to set up a win con in this deck is to resolve a fusion spell and summon a construct. It's downhill from there because you get all the resources you need. You get recursion, you get follow-ups every single turn. You have so much graveyard management and recursion, outpacing your opponent, flipping Windas on them out of nowhere. You know, this deck's really, really strong, and you want to play it in the mindset of, I want to follow up, I always need a follow up, I always need a follow up. That's why I play mid-range dolls. You know, I don't combo up unless I have to. But let's get into the list. So like, pretty much nothing's really changing on the doll count. You guys see, me as a player, I play high doll count. Like, you guys cannot get, you can say, they're rigged, blah 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 blah, whatever you want to say. Okay, whatever, that's fine, that's your opinion. I'm a SHADDOLL player too. I know how to play the deck. I like drawing dolls. In my opinion, bad hands are when you don't have multiple dolls and multiple fusion spells. If you have only one doll, you'd better literally have a light attribute. If you don't have a light attribute, that one doll ain't gonna do jack squat for you, bro, because the best thing you could do is probably summon a Winda. You can't summon Opcalone if you only have one doll, and summoning Sheki ain't gonna do nothing unless you have another SHADDOLL card in your hand. So the problem with SHADDOLLs is not drawing enough fusion spells and not drawing enough SHADDOLLs. It's like people got backwards. They think you gotta draw a lot of fusion spells and you don't need a lot of dolls. No, bro, you can't just rely on only SHADDOLL fusion. So I play 3 beasts, play 2 dragon, and I am speaking from experience. I have got tops of this deck, and also, you know, I've been playing it for like 5 years. Yeah, like 5 years. I think daggone 6 years, as a matter of fact. Shoot, I lost count. But 3 beasts, 2 dragons, 3 squamatas. And Squamata's the best Shaddoll, hands down, without a doubt. Squamata's the best Shaddoll monster, period. We have 1 Trick Clown, you know, 1 damage juggler for performer mages. I always play Hound if I can. Hound is just a very slept on, underrated card. You can use it offensively, defensively, reactively. You know, you can use this card just really good. Even just sending it to flip your own Shaddoll's face up so you don't have to burn Incarnation's graveyard effect. You know, it's just really strong. It's so good, you guys. Shaddoll Hound slept on. 2 chains because I'm not taking out Patchwork. It's too good. 3 aerials. I'm still playing 3 aerials. It's like, I love this card. Like, from experience, this card's so good, you guys. And now, 3 of one of the newer cards coming out soon, Magistus, very Cindrillon. So, if you guys didn't know, the background noise is a fan. I'm not turning my fan off. It's 111 degrees in Las Vegas. I'm not doing it. So, I'm sorry. You know, if it's bothering you, just don't watch the video. If you could bear with it, bear with it. Very Cindrillon. So, like, this card, what this does for this deck is it gives you a light attribute that searches a fusion spell. That is 2 of the 3 essential components for Shaddolls to be able to go off. So having a light attribute and a fusion spell built in 1 card makes any 3-card combo a 2-card combo now. That makes a huge difference. Because now, her plus any Shaddol, let me say that one more time. Her plus any Shaddol gets you access to any Shaddol card that you want in your entire deck. Any Shaddol you fuse with, you can chain block. Even if you're just fusing with Aerial, use its effect to banish itself, just so that construct can't be hand trapped with like Gamma. It's like crazy. So like her plus any Shaddol summons Construct. Thank you, Jesus. Construct sends any Shaddol card from your deck to your grave. And then if you send a Shaddol monster, it gets its effect. If you send a Shaddol spell or trap, you can link her off in a gravity controller and add that. So bare minimum, let's say you just have her plus dragon. Dang, this hand sucks. I have her and dragon and like nothing else, you know, for some odd reason, whatever it is. It doesn't normally happen, but you just fusion off into construct, use her effect, send incarnation, link her off in a gravity controller, grab the incarnation. And you flip it, summon construct, send windy effect, start snowballing on your opponent's turn. Just off of basically the Cindrillon. So this card's insane in this deck. Searching a fusion spell and being a light attribute at the same time. So if you open this plus Squamata, that's full combo. That's full combo. Like, you're just gonna get to send 2 Shaddol cards, you know? 2 Shaddol cards from your deck to your grave. Like, you know, the combo's better when you can, like, you know, make cross sheep and like have an extra body to link the construct off. But like, just being able to send 2 Shaddol cards is insane, because you can also just basically use the Aerial to bring back a banished Shaddol monster that you banished off Incarnation to link off into the Shaddol construct link 2. Use her and a construct on your field, fuse off into a 2nd construct, use her effect, you know, and then dump something else, and then use her, send her from the field, summon her, grab that from grave to hand. Just so much that you can do just off of Cindrillon and Squamata. So like this, like I said, any 3-card combo can become a 2-card combo. Like, this card's just so powerful, man. I looked up Magistus. Unless I'm wrong, I didn't see any searchers for the deck. If there was, I'd max out on it so I can see Magistus as quickly as possible. 3 Windies, you know, continuing with the high dog count, 3 Hedgehog, you know, the Kaios light attribute searchable, and then double Falco. I love Falco. Falco's so good. I had a list where I played 3. Matter of fact, when I when I beat Pack in the Shaddol mirror match, I played 3. This is just me, my preference as a doll player. 3 Mathman's crazy. He's better than her because he's more flexible. He does more than just search a fusion spell. You know, but like, she's just so good, man. She's too good. She's the only Magistus monster I play in the main deck. Then we have 3 Polys, 3 Patchworks to search it out, 3 Shaddol Fusions, 3 Magistus Invocation, which is searchable off of Cindrillon, 3 L's. So you have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 ways to access a fusion spell. You know, that's really strong. Also considering that 1, 2, 6 of those 18 are not only fusion spell accessors, but also giving you fusion attributes. This is a fusion attribute. Patchwork searches out Chain. That's a dark for Winda. So, you know, it's really nice that you have cards that get your fusion spells and also basically allow you to account for your fusion materials. So it's really multi-purpose and flexible. Foolish, you know, I was talking about that in the beginning. You know, Foolish is nice. I play double incarnation. It's important to have more than one. One's used for a combo, the other you just keep looping it. It's really annoying and nasty when you can just loop construct over and over off of this. Eventually your opponent just can't keep up. Then we have one core. Core is really important, really powerful in this deck. And Rook. This card's crazy. It's crazy, you guys. It's crazy. Honestly, you know what? I'm gonna probably have to find room for Grista, so I can just be able to like summon Grista on command. But like Rook being able to send like, you know, your opponent's Golden Lord, your opponent's Dragma card, you know, your opponent's access code talker, summoning like Opcolon or Winda. You know, being able to send off, like, especially against Dragon Links, they have a lot of darks, and then like summoning Shikinaga against, you know, Adamancipators, sending one of their Earths, you know, keeping their tuners and their rock monsters off field is really important. So like being able to summon Shikinaga off Rook, you know, flip a Winda against them, you know, it's like this deck can really just lock you out of the game completely. So like this card's crazy. Just pumping out fusions like every turn is just super duper powerful. And being able to send, don't forget the sending effect is so busted. This is also out to Dragoon, which is really cool because like it doesn't target, it doesn't destroy, you just send. You know, just send the Dragoon, summon like Opcolon, you know, basically just send the Dragoon, which is really cool. All you have to do is bait Dragoon. You could bait them with the SHADDOLL fusion, to be honest. That's a fair bait because, you know, they have to negate it. Otherwise, chain blocking happens after that. We have one Sheki, 3 construct. I don't like to play without 3. This card's too busted. I am teching one of the Magistus Saint Iwas. So all it does is it just requires a Magistus monster plus a spellcaster. Spellcasters, almost every dog except for Windy and Ariel, or spellcasters, even Kaios is a spellcaster, so it's no really, there's no like big whoop about it. You have a lot of spellcasters. Basically you just have to open her plus spellcaster. Like if you already have your SHADDOLL cards, like that's what's the cool thing. Like if you already, let's say you like, oh, I have L, I have Squamata, you know, I have Clown, then you're just like, alright, then I'm just gonna like save her, you know, I'm gonna do my combo, and then I'm gonna normal her, grab the invocation, fuse off with her and a spellcaster, go into this, and this is like another interrupt that you could put up turn 1. During the main phase quick effect, target one face-up monster on the field, equip this card to it. You can only use this effect once per turn. While this card is equipped to an opponent's monster, by this effect, that monster cannot activate its effects, and you take control of it. So like also it gains 1,000 attack and defense. Like, so basically it's like a quick effect snatch steal / mind control / crackdown / like, it's like a crackdown. That's what I want to say. It's more like crackdown because it just takes it and it can't activate its effect, but then it gives a boost. So this card's basically like crackdown because that's almost everything that crackdown does minus like the boost, and but you can still attack with it. It's like this card's actually really insane. Like when you just like put into context how many decks really do need certain monsters on the field, like Eldritch needing their Golden Lord. Like they're like, I activate Conquistador, and you're like, chain, take that Golden Lord please. And the fact that the monster that you take can be fusion summoned with because you play SHADDOLLs, which is really cool. So this card is like super strong. Double op is correct standard ratio now. You need multiples. Since I'm not playing fusion recycling plant, you can't really recycle. Like just having this is really important. And for the resource management that the second one provides, being able to add, like even if you just add construct from your graveyard to your hand. You know, just for example, because it adds from grave to hand. So when you add construct from your grave to your hand, she goes to the extra deck instead. So it like recycles everything. It's really important for the grind. 2 Windas, really correct. Access code, Appaloosa, construct, cross sheep, gravity controller, and this card's busted. So like Magistus made an Artemis. This card is literally like basically a light attribute. So like when you really think of it, normal summon Mathman effect, send Hedgehog search for Windy. So like now because you're playing this, Mathman plus a fusion spell is combo 2. So these Magistus cards really help this deck out a lot, just reducing the cost, maintenance, and specific requirements to combo up. So now Mathman plus any fusion spell literally can get to construct because you normal Mathman. This is a light attribute. Link it off into this. And then, you know, obviously Mathman sends Hedgehog get Windy. Then you just activate the fusion, fuse off with this and the Windy to summon your construct, and you're comboing off now. So this card's crazy good because it's light and it has another effect. So if a Magistus monster is normal or special summoned while this card is on the field, target basically one of those monsters, equip this card to it. While this card is equipped to a monster, you can add one Magistus monster from your deck to your hand. So it gives you follow-ups in a sense like where basically You basically have a way to get, because you can get this out comboing off without a normal summon when you just start off by fusion. Like when you activate L using your clowns, because like this is spellcaster, you just summon it freely. Go into this, then you like normal summon Cendrillon. Then you could like use this effect, equip, search for a follow-up Cendrillon, which is really cool. Like while this card's equipped, you can add a Magistus, and like you can only use that effect once per turn. But like it says while it's equipped, so it doesn't say when it becomes equipped. So like every turn you can do that. So like you just get follow-ups and Drillions, and follow-ups are really important with this deck. So like this card even is multi-purpose because like it's a light attribute, man. It's a light attribute. I even cited in my Dweller. I took out Dweller from my main extra deck just for this card because it gives you just more ways to combo off. Which is incredible. Like Shaddolls are so good with resource management. This deck is very, very durable, very resilient, very annoying, very hard to beat, very hard to outgrind. I don't care what anybody says. You can't just outgrind this deck. Just like, oh, I'm just banishing Eldritch spells and traps, you know. So what, dude? Like, I'm gonna send Ariel and banish the mess out of your stuff, bro. You tripping if you think you're about to outgrind me. It's like Shaddolls are a very, very skillful deck. They require patience. You know, and you honestly, when it comes to this deck, you really do have to know what you're doing. You really do have to plan ahead. Sometimes I use Squamata to send Shaddol Fusion for my deck to grade, and a hindsight play so that I can use L, fuse off with my window if they like, you know, out my window, or just use L in general on my opponent's turn, get my Shaddol Fusion from grade to hand. You know, there's like a lot of big brain plays you can make with this deck. You just gotta know what you're doing. And me as a Shaddol player, I ain't gonna cap. I do a lot of big brain plays with this deck. It's really good, you guys. So for siding, 3 Jizukuru. The reason why I chose this over Gamma Steel is because it's a light attribute. It outs the Buster Lock. I feel like the only way that I can't break somebody's board is if they have Abyss Dweller or Buster Lock. So I have Droplets for Dweller and Kaijus for Buster Lock. That's why, as you guys see, I don't play any hand traps in my main. Honestly, you could cut down on some dolls if you want to, play less, play more hand traps. But I really, the only cards that I am scared of is going to be Dweller and the Buster Lock. Because no extra deck or no graveyard effects is huge. Dweller, not so much because Adamance is the only tier 1 deck that's making that card. Buster Lock happens in Adamance and it happens in Dragon Link. And those are 2 of the tier 1 decks. If I play against, like, you know, Infernoble Knights, you guys, I probably would have to show you if you don't want to believe me. I waxed Infernoble Knights with this deck, and I didn't even, like, hand trap him. He hand looped me, you know, he set up multiple negates. Then there's another duel where it's just negates. I just shattered his board, bro. Like, I played it in negates. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, because like I drew a great hand and just broke his whole board and ulticated him with Access Code Talker the same exact turn. So I ended the duel ASAP. No Rocky. Like, this deck's crazy. So like I was saying, the light Kaiju is really important because it summons Construct. I sided out Dweller because I think this card's that good. It was worth it. Dweller's specific to the matchup anyways. Might as well just side it in when you play against a deck that loses to Dweller. Lightning Storm. I did 2 Dark Rulers. Chose the 3rd Droplet. It was originally 3 Rulers, 2 Droplet, but Droplet stops Dweller. Dark Ruler does not, because people will shotgun Dweller. So just being able to chain Droplet, you know, and just hit the Dweller, that's all that really matters. The beauty with Droplet and Shaddolls too is because you have searchable spells, traps, and monsters. You can Droplet in a way that your opponent cannot actually activate anything in response, not even the effects of the cards. So it's not like Dark Ruler where, like, you know, your opponent can be like, I chain something and then I like target that, then I negate it. You know, it's like with Droplets, you can't even chain effects of the cards with the same type that it sends. So it's so much more superior to Dark Ruler. It just has a cost. It's just better than Dark Ruler if you ask me, because you can still OTK with it. It can be used in damage step. It can be used offensively, defensively. It's more flexible. You could draw going first. It's still good. It counters Dwellers and Kingdom Calamity. Drop is one of the best cards in the game. It's just insane. There's no reason to not play. And stopping Dwellers is the priority. And then evenly Lightning Storms for like back row decks. If I see too many back rows, I just side in Dinkos and just like change it up a little bit. So that's pretty much the deck list, you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. You know, this deck's really cool. I'll just do a quick test hand while I, like, on the video. I'll do a test hand live. Oh, snap. Wow, this is nice. So I'm just going to play this hand out. You know, before I end the video, at least you guys can see, like, comboing off. So I'm in the normal math man. I'm going to actually send the Hedgehog. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab Windy. So grabbing Windy. And then what's really cool is, like, I can link into the Magistus link. If I did it already have this Trick Clown in my hand, I could turn this into the Magistus Link 1 and use the Windy and like basically make Construct that way. But I opened the Trick Clown, so like, you know, I got lucky with the 1-of. But I was gonna have the light attribute no matter what. That's where like the Magistus cards, like I was saying, they really help Shaddolls a lot. Like a lot. They help this deck. I can't really think of other archetypes that Magistus help that much, you know? Construct Chain Link 1. I'm just going to combo off. I'm going to show you guys my ending board. As a Shaddol player, this is what I do. Unless I have no choice but to summon like Appaloosa, Winda, and stuff like that, you know, I'm just going to do this. You guys are going to see what I do. Trick Clown, target himself. Summon the Trick Clown. So Construct, what I'm going to do here is the special summon monster is going to be Ariel. Boop, boop. And then I'm going to send Incarnation. I'm not a Shaddol player either that just sends Squamata just to send another card. I just send the card that Squamata would have sent to hold my Squamata, because I really like to be like a little bit conservative with my activations. You can only activate one effect of each Shaddol, and I see people too many times go Construct, send Squamata, Squamata, send, or Squamata, send Hedgehog, Hedgehog effect. Like, if you wanted to get a search off Hedgehog, just send the Hedgehog. If you wanted to just send a Shaddol card from your deck tray, just send off the Construct. I use Squamata to be able to send something that I can't send. So I'm not going to burn Construct to send Squamata when I can use both in the same turn to be able to get 2 dumps. Like, I do not know why people do that. But, like, again, not everybody knows how to play Shaddolls correctly, and that's a fact. Some people just activate stuff literally just to activate it. So I'm going to send Construct and the Math Man. And it's not like it's no hate or anything like that. It's just like, I'm just being honest, you guys. Like, that is not correct to use Construct to send Squamata unless you're setting your grave up for Shaddol Rook. If you're not setting up for Shizm or Rook, whatever the card's called, don't just, like, you know, mindlessly just use your dumps just to dump, because you start to burn out of resources with this deck really fast. So I'm going to target the Shaddol Fusion, grab it back, and then I'm going to activate Incarnation. I'm going to banish the Construct, change one face down to face up. And then I'm going to flip Ariel. I'm going to activate Ariel. Ariel's effect is going to special summon the Construct to Cross Sheep Zone. And then I'm going to go Chain Link 1 Construct and Chain Link 2 Cross Sheep, as you guys can see. Dang, I drew combo on the first. But like, you draw combo a lot now with the Magistus cards. Even without drawing Vermilion, or Syndrillion, just drawing any Spellcaster. Any Spellcaster now is a light attribute thanks to the Magistus cards. I probably will bring back Windy because she is a Shaddol. And then Construct is next. So priorities, so you guys are going to see how I set up. So my first priority to get to my hand is going to be L. And then next I'm going to get Incarnation, then Rook. I like Rook, but I like that Incarnation's better for the grind. Because Incarnation brings back fusions that you already summoned. Rook is accustomed to how much you have left in your extra deck. And, you know, the cards, like, you start to burn out, you know. So Rook is like the third priority to me, and basically you just want to set up to be able to get Shaddol Rook, El Shaddol Fusion, and Incarnation, so you can do whatever you want in Shaddolls. So as you guys see, the next thing I'm going to do, if you're trying to play around hand traps, you can summon Oppo here, but I'm just going to do what I normally do with Shaddolls. I'm just going to keep setting up. So now I go Construct, Effect of Fusion into a second Construct, using this Construct and this Construct. Construct talk. And then I'm going to go Chain Link 1 on field, Chain Link 2 in grave, targeting my El Shaddol Fusion. So I'm going to grab L. And then next I'm going to send Incarnation. And then what I'm going to do now, you guys are going to think I'm crazy for doing this, but I'm going to activate El Shaddol Fusion. And now all my Constructs are going to be brought back off of my Incarnation. If you don't want to go into Construct, you can go into Op Cologne. You just have to trade a card out of your hand. So like, for example, you'd have to add Rook and then discard. If you want to save your third Construct, you know, that's totally up to you. So like, you can summon Op Cologne instead, you know, and basically then you would just send it off, summon the Link 2 Construct, get its graveyard effect, and then like you could just like, you know, you only really need one extra Shaddol in hand. So like, just for example, to show you guys that you don't need a burn through every construct. You could summon Opcolone, but I'm gonna just show you guys like a full setup. And keep in mind, Opcolone also puts construct back. But like I'm telling you guys right now, if you don't want to summon your third construct for hindsight, because Shaddol Fusion does get more value that way, you could just summon Opcolone anyway. So like, I'll just show you guys Opcolone. So like, construct, and then dragon. And it's safe to do L with construct because you're gonna get it back. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go construct, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab the incarnation from grave, and we're just gonna chain block again. So we're gonna use Opcolone's effect to just a chain block. Grab incarnation, and then the next thing that we're gonna do here is we're gonna go ahead and activate the Shaddol construct link to. We're gonna send Opcolone, and I don't normally do this. I don't mind burning constructs, but I'm just doing this for the sake of the viewers. And then Opcolone's effect. And now to be conservative, like instead of going for Rook, you could just grab core, and then discard the core, and grab your El Shaddol Fusion anyways. And now you still can, if you want to, you can still summon Appaloosa, which is really cool. So like you could just go, for example, Oppo for 3. And there's so many variations of this combo too. I could have summoned Dweller, I mean not Dweller, well yeah I can, but you know, it's in my side deck. I could have summoned Window right now. Like, I could legitimately combo it off. Because anytime you could summon the Shaddol link too, you can make Dweller, you can make Appaloosa, and Winda. So Dweller, Appaloosa, Winda is like the best board that pure Shaddols can make. And I can do that with that combo I just had. But I chose what I chose because I just want to have follow-ups. And I want a way to be able to have interaction on my opponent's turn and still be able to like Winda lock them. So I set L, and I'm good to go. This is all I really need. I have one extra doll in hand, which is really important. That's why, as you guys saw, I had a lot of dolls in hand. Didn't they get utilized? Yeah, it's really important for me. So like what happens now is you incarnation on standby, and I'll show you guys what you can do from here. So EP, draw phase, incarnation, targeting construct. Normally, and also keep in mind, I do actually leave my cross shape on the field all the time. I'm doing this for you guys just to like show you guys different things. But I always normally just leave cross shape on the field. So I do this play where I summon construct to my cross shape zone, trigger it again, and get extra dolls on field. That also mitigates if you don't have Shaddols in hand. Cross shape being left on field brings them back to the field, which gives you more resources to play with, which is really important. So what we're going to do next is get our follow-ups. Shaddol construct also is an interruption. So this with construct engraved is a sword, because you can pop back rows, you can banish, or you can do what I'm doing, which I'm going to send Windy, trigger her effect, and I'm going to special summon Squamata. The reason why I special summon Squamata is so now, when I fusion summon with the El Shaddol fusion, I can use Squamata to send Aerial if I need a banish, send Dragon if I need a pop, send Shaddol Hound in case they have a monster that has high attack power and can attack over my Winda. I just change that monster to defense, now it can't beat over my Winda. So like there's a lot of utility out of this, and like keep in mind that Construct's gonna be able to grab the L back anyways, which is really cool. So there's like a lot that you can do, you know, and I just like being able to set up ways to play on my opponent's turn. If you didn't already have Shaddol Fusion, I recommend sending it off the Construct and just fusing off, you know, and getting it back, which is really cool. So that's just one of the many ways that you can play Shaddols. Now, if it was up to me, I'll be honest with you guys. What I like to do is leave my cross sheep on field, you know, leave my Shaddols basically. I like to leave my cross sheep on field, and what I try to do basically is get L, Incarnation, and Rook, and Core. I go for the Shaddol spells and traps because I feel like they're the strongest, most durable Shaddol cards in the deck, because they're also recurable off the fusions. And with Incarnation, Rook, and Core, these mitigate and replace what you lack in Shaddol monsters. If you don't have them on field in hand, these can get you access to those. So like having L plus any one of these can still get you somewhere, which is really cool. But just having Incarnation, which I love Incarnation so much in this deck, and L alone to me is like priority. Then after that I go for Rook, and then after that I go for Core. So like I know this card is insane, I know it's really strong, but what I like about having Incarnation and L is that I get more follow-ups in the sense where recurring the construct for my graveyard gives me a follow-up and a setup to make my El Shaddol fusion better. With Rook and L, you only play off what you have in your grave, and whatever you summon, that's it. So with Rook and L, you can do this where you have a way to set up Winda multiple times, but you can also do that just turn one, summoning a Winda, and then having an L and an Incarnation to back it up, where they out Winda, you summon another one, they out it the second time, you flip Incarnation, bring it back the third time. And people just don't normally out Winda 3 times. If they lose to it, they lose to it. So that's kind of just more hindsight. Thank you guys for watching my SHADDOLL video. God bless you guys. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. Stay tuned for future content. And peace out, you guys. God is good. Hallelujah. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Jesus. Thy kingdom come, and thy will be done on earth just as it is in heaven. Please give us this day our daily bread, Lord, and please forgive us of our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, Father, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the glory, and the power forever. In the mighty name of Jesus I pray. Amen. Peace out, yo.